Dave Ramsey has never been one to hold his tongue. But this time, his words hit harder than ever. In a recent Fox News interview, the financial guru, known for his no-nonsense advice, took aim at millennials and Gen Z, calling them awful, lazy, and claiming they live in their mother's basement because they don't work. The internet exploded. To some, he's just being honest, saying what others are too afraid to. But to millions of young Americans struggling under record inflation, student debt, and a broken housing market, his comments felt tone-deaf, arrogant, and completely disconnected from reality. So who's right? The old-school financial legend or the new generation redefining what success means in a world he no longer understands? Let's break it down. Dave Ramsey has built his empire on one principle: personal responsibility. His message is simple: work hard, avoid debt, and invest early. It's the classic American dream blueprint. But when he said millennials don't work, and that's why they can't afford homes, the response was brutal. Because here's the truth: this isn't the 1980s anymore. The average American home now costs over $413,000, and mortgage rates hover around 7%. Rent has exploded. Groceries, gas, and insurance are eating away at paychecks that haven't kept up with inflation. A report from Consumer Affairs revealed that Gen Z's purchasing power is 86% lower than baby boomers when they were the same age. So while Ramsey insists that young people just need to work harder, most are already doing everything they can. They're just trying to survive an economy that's stacked against them. To Ramsey, it's about discipline. To younger generations, it's about survival. The rules of the game changed, but the old guard never updated the playbook. To be fair, not everything Ramsey says is wrong. His core ideas: save money, live below your means, avoid credit traps, are timeless. He's helped millions get out of debt and build better financial habits. But his worldview is stuck in a time that no longer exists. Ramsey built his success when homes were cheap, wages were steady, and college didn't cost a lifetime of debt. He's giving advice for a game that today's generation doesn't even get to play. Today's millennials and Gen Z workers are juggling multiple jobs, paying off massive student loans, and still can't afford basic milestones their parents achieved decades ago. When Ramsey says just work harder, he's missing the bigger picture. Hard work alone doesn't guarantee success anymore. Yes, financial discipline still matters, but what matters more today is adaptation, learning how to survive and thrive in a system that keeps shifting. Because the new generation isn't lazy. They're just playing by a new set of rules. For their parents, buying a home was a rite of passage, the first real symbol of adulthood. But for millennials and Gen Z, it's quickly become a fantasy. The U.S. Census Bureau reports the median home price is $413,500, up nearly 100% in the last decade. Mortgage rates near 7% mean monthly payments that rival entire paychecks. Meanwhile, the National Association of Realtors says home prices are rising in 85% of U.S. cities, locking even dual-income families out of ownership. Boomers like to say, "We had higher interest rates." Sure, but homes back then cost 4 or 5 times a person's annual income, not 10. Today's buyers face astronomical costs, stagnant wages, and crushing debt. So when Ramsey blames young people for not owning homes, he ignores one massive detail: the math doesn't work anymore. But this generation isn't giving up. Instead of fighting a rigged game, they're rewriting it. If millennials can't buy entire homes, they're buying pieces of them. Enter platforms like Arrived and Homeshares, which let ordinary investors buy fractional shares of rental and vacation properties, sometimes for as little as $100. Arrived, backed by Jeff Bezos, has opened the door to real estate ownership for millions who would otherwise be locked out. It's simple. You invest in shares of a property, earn rental income, and watch your stake appreciate over time. No mortgage, no maintenance, no tenants. It's real estate for the streaming era. Ramsey might roll his eyes at it, but to young investors, this isn't laziness. It's innovation. They're using tech and financial platforms to create opportunities where none existed. They're working smarter, not harder. Because if the system won't let them own the American dream, they'll build their own version. One share, one investment, one digital opportunity at a time. At the heart of this debate lies a cultural clash that goes far beyond economics. To Dave Ramsey, financial success is a moral issue. You earn it by doing the right things: work, save, stay humble. To millennials and Gen Z, it's about survival and creativity, making money however you can in a world that's constantly moving the goalposts. That's why his Fox News rant went viral. His "they don't work" comment felt like a slap to millions who are grinding every day, not from laziness, but from exhaustion. Gen Z isn't sitting still. They're flipping sneakers, reselling vintage clothes, running side hustles, freelancing, investing, and building brands online. They're hustling, just in ways the older generation doesn't recognize. And the backlash has been massive. The hashtag Dave Ramsey wouldn't approve now has millions of TikTok views, with creators mocking his outdated advice. But beneath the humor lies real frustration. A sense that financial rules no longer apply when the system itself feels broken. Ramsey's mistake isn't what he believes. It's that he refuses to admit the world has changed. For all the outrage, Ramsey's words have reignited a crucial conversation. What does financial wisdom really mean today? His advice on budgeting and avoiding debt still holds value, but the delivery, the context, and the expectations must evolve. Because financial freedom now looks nothing like it did 40 years ago. Back then, security meant one job, one home, one pension. Today, it means multiple income streams, flexible work, and financial agility. Ramsey tells people to save cash and stay out of debt. Younger investors are leveraging credit, using automation, and generating income from their phones. Ramsey calls it rebellion. But really, it's reinvention. He taught people to survive the system. Millennials and Gen Z are trying to change it, to create wealth in new ways that reflect their world. That doesn't make them reckless. It makes them resourceful. Because in 2025, financial discipline isn't just about saving money, it's about finding smarter ways to make it. Ramsey's comments didn't just offend. They exposed a deeper shift in how people learn about money. His brand of radio talk shows and tough love worked for a generation that needed a wake-up call. But this generation doesn't need to be yelled at. They need to be heard. Today's financial education lives online. YouTube creators, TikTok educators, and digital advisors have replaced the gatekeepers. Instead of "stop buying coffee," they're saying, "here's how to make money while you drink it." And that's the future of finance: accessible, modern, and relatable. Ramsey's empire was built on fear of debt. This new wave is built on financial empowerment. They're not avoiding money, they're mastering it. They're turning side hustles into careers, digital assets into income, and social media into opportunity. So while Ramsey insists that young people don't work, the truth is that they're working differently, building the next generation of wealth creators right under his nose. So after all the outrage, one question remains. Is Dave Ramsey out of touch, or just brutally honest? Maybe a little of both. He's not wrong about the importance of self-control, saving, and long-term planning, but he's wrong to pretend that hard work alone guarantees success in a world where opportunity depends on access, not effort. Ramsey represents a world that valued predictability: one job, one house, one path to success. Millennials and Gen Z represent a world built on innovation, multiple hustles, digital investments, and independence. Both want financial freedom. They just define it differently. Ramsey taught a generation how to escape debt, but this generation is teaching the world how to build wealth without waiting for permission. And that's what makes his comments so powerful. They've forced a conversation about money, privilege, and change. A conversation that might just shape the next evolution of financial wisdom. Because whether you agree with him or not, one thing's clear. Dave Ramsey may not understand Gen Z, But Gen Z is already creating the financial future he'll never see coming.